No, they say TGIF, thank God it's Friday. And it's always wonderful to have a friend of mine beaming at me on the other side through the cameras and the mics. And that is the one and only Shishir Joshi. He's Chief Executive Officer and co-founder at Project Mumbai, all-round good man. Hi, how are you? I hope the family and you are safe and healthy and all is well in the world of the Joshis.
Yes, Rishi, absolutely. And let me be very honest, it's always lovely listening to your voice and, of course, getting to see you also. So, thanks to the digital age, getting to see RJs is a treat. Thank you, Rishi, for inviting us.
And really, somebody who's the star of our session, I haven't made that up. That's a coinage that Shishir has given me. And this is Dinkle Shah. You're going to find out more about her. She's a wheelchair basketball player who's played national and international tournaments. She's represented India at international tournaments. She's a para badminton player. And above all, she's an MBA from the Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management, which is one of the top 10 B schools in the country. Hello, Star, aka Dinkle. How are you? Sweetheart, you're muted. You're muted.
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for inviting Rishikesh.
I want to start with the problems that all wheelchair people with special needs face in the city of Mumbai. If you could just jog back your memory, your present and your past, it'll be nice for everybody who's listening or watching.
So Rishikesh, we all know major issues like accessibility. There are no accessible public places, public transports, and everything. But if we dig deeper, there needs to be a shift in mindsets also of people. So I got injured back in 2001. So at that time, the situations were worse, very worse. So when you walk down the road, you would have 10 eyes on you. Oh, what is she doing outside? She's not supposed to be here. I had to face struggles getting admitted in a school also. So I had my uncles coming down and saying this to my mom. Oh, why are you making her study? What is going to be her life as it is? She's a girl, that too on a wheelchair. Why are you even doing so much to get her educated? So, but then that uncle's dead and I'm an MBA now. That's a different story. But mindsets also, the acceptance among people. The authorities also do not accept us, be it educational institutions or at the job front also. I was lucky enough to be accepted and to be admired so much at my workplace, but then not everybody has that opportunity. So workplace acceptance is a must. I still hear, so when I finished my education, I thought the struggles that I've faced, there must be a change in it, and educational institutions especially, must have become more accessible and acceptable to students. But I still hear stories where people do not tell you this thing directly, but then they somehow try to create problems for you. That, the lift would get stuck in the middle of nowhere and your child would face problems, and then there is this non-acceptability from the faculties itself. Forget about students, faculties also do not accept child with disability. When I started my MBA, as you mentioned, it was one of the top 10 institutions in India. It did not have a single accessible washrooms for us. I had to fight for a month with the dean and the authorities to get some adjustments done. So these issues needs to be dealt with. So yeah, majorly this. These are
it's quite crazy, but I've been doing these Women's Day specials where I spoke to Ashwini Iyer Tiwari, who's a prominent movie director and producer. She made Bareli Ki Barfi and Panga. And she said one of the biggest problems in this country a few years ago was that when they used to film on location, there were no loos for girls and women, and it was such an embarrassing thing, especially for young girls who are out there working on film units. And these are people who don't even have special needs. So I can imagine what you're going through. And secondly, you're right. I mean, there is the sensitization as far as these things are concerned. The other end of the spectrum, I have a 74-year-old mother who's just had a knee replacement. And every place we go, except maybe one mall where there was a ramp, there are just no facilities. You have top-end, high-end restaurants charging you 1,000 rupees for a dish. But for people like yourself who are in a wheelchair, or a senior citizen, who's had a knee replacement, there's just no smooth transitioning. So, right, we know what the problem is now. Now, some of the people, or a prominent part of the solution of the problem, is right here with us. Shishir, obviously, this is something that you are deeply sensitive about. Tell me what you're doing as a citizen initiative. Tell me how you're liaising with the government of Maharashtra or otherwise to try and make our city more wheelchair friendly.
Thanks, Hrishi. The problems, and no better person to explain the problems than somebody who lives with it. And as Dinkle shared with us, it's just that more and more people need to see the problem to realize that there is a problem. It's just that 95% of the people don't even know this problem exists. And what we did was, when we interacted with I wasn't aware of these problems. Something which Dinkle pointed about washrooms. Just to give you an example, there are basketball courts across Mumbai, but is there a basketball court where, when he spoke about accessible washrooms, something as simple as the width of the door should be wide enough where a wheelchair can go in? We don't even think about it because we've never needed that. And when I invited people, as one says, able-bodied, but definitely dislocated minds, they came and watched such matches, and then they saw and they went back with eyes wide and said, wow. And I said, don't give a wow, do something about it. And that's how the change is beginning. So it's not about policy frameworks. That's one part of it, which will be the change. Mindsets are very important. Awareness is very important. Acceptance is very important. Something separately we've discussed in the past, mental health. Till the time somebody who faces a challenge on mental health will not, only that person will realize, or that family will know what the challenges are. For others, it's just one more statistic. And it's the same way with persons with disabilities. And here at Project Mumbai, we're really keen that these mindsets change and there's acceptance across Mumbai to begin with, of course.
Okay, so this is not just advocacy, they're doing things about it. Project Mumbai is. Something amazing is happening tomorrow and day after, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday at the Mastan YMCA Nagpada, Sunday at the International House YMCA Bombay Central. Both days, 4 p.m. onwards. It is, for the first time in India, you're going to see 60 wheelchair basketball players. So there are men, women, and children who are going to be part of a premier basketball league. How exciting is that?
So the motive is very simple. So many people are not even aware that there's a wheelchair basketball as a sport that exists. When Neeraj Chopra won the javelin medal, people didn't know. So many people said, javelin, what's this sport? People, it's a cricket obsessed country. So I
want to just interrupt. My hero is here, my t-shirt, that's Roger Federer. And I don't know if you know this, Shishir, if you're a tennis follower, you'd know that. All the Grand Slams have a wheelchair section. And Roger always makes it a point that when he's at a Grand Slam, in particular at Wimbledon, he goes and cheers the wheelchair finalists. And how awesome is that for those finalists to have the greatest player of all time to actually come there and hang with them and do photographs. Continue.
So I'm going to come to an interesting element linked to wheelchairs and able-bodied people, what Roger's done. But yes, get people to come and watch. That's one part of it. Go back to think that, yes, there's somebody possibly in our community who may need a wheelchair and this is a challenge that exists, because we'd like to tell people that these are challenges. We have, more than me, none of our players have any qualms in talking about the challenges that they face. That's two. And third, now coming back to what Roger has done, at the end of every game, we want to get able-bodied people. I hate to use the word able-bodied people again, but them to sit on wheelchairs and practice throwing a basketball. It's nice to sit on the sidelines and cheer, but come and sit on a wheelchair and throw a basketball, realize how challenging it is.
Wow.
So not just living a life, and Dinkle has explained it in great detail. There are so many challenges on a day-to-day level, but something as simple as a sport also, if you think it was simple, we're here to change mindsets, and sport can't be a better medium than this, and we'd like to do that.
What is even more amazing is if you come on Saturday and Sunday, you will see players from the PRC, the Armed Forces Paraplegic Rehab Center. They are from Kharki in Pune. Now, these are Jawans and officers who were injured while serving the country. I mean, these are people who, fought in Kargil, fought in other conflict areas in Kashmir, and today they are paraplegics, and they're part of that rehab center. It's going to be wonderful to see them in action. There are 2 teams from Mumbai, 2 from Pune, both men and women's teams. So will we see you in action, Dinkle?
Sure, you would.
So tell me, I mean, you must be excited about this. Are there some players that you've already played with or against who are going to be competing? Let's have a look at the competition.
So we play at national level. So all of us come together and make a team of 5 people and represent Maharashtra at against other states. So, but then while practices and exhibition matches, we play against each other. We play, Mumbai women has been playing against Mumbai men and winning also. So, yeah, but then this is after a while that PRC people, armed forces people would be coming down. People from other cities also would be coming down and playing with us. So, yeah, excited about it. And the kind of scale that Shishir has given us, Project Mumbai has given us, it's exponential. I remember 2 years back before COVID when we used to conduct matches. Not even Mumbai people would know that we are playing or we are having camps organized. But then last session itself, last time when the event was organized, he made sure that our matches were streaming globally. So that's something he's been working on more than anything else, that the game gets more exposure, more awareness, and obviously he's doing a lot for the players also.
That's great. So Shishir, let me understand this. You're starting with some kind of number in mind. You're saying you want to build at least 1,000 such players across Mumbai and Maharashtra. Also ensure at least 100 institutions, make their institutions more accessible. And people like Dinkle don't have to go through what they went through at a premier management institute or elsewhere.
So, Hrishi, there are 2 parts to it. One is sport. So from a sport point, clearly sporting persons need to get opportunities, which is what we're working on. Do you know that a wheelchair that you spoke about your mom, and there are so many senior citizens, the wheelchairs that we use or we get to use cost around 4,000 or 5,000 rupees. Okay, but a state level game that the wheelchairs a player would use costs nothing less than 45,000 rupees. Okay, and what Dinkle would play at a national or international level, acceptable wheelchair costs nothing less than 5 lakh plus. Okay, who can afford these kind of wheelchairs? And if we want our players to be globally competitive, then we need to give them that. And that's what Project Mumbai is working on, from simple infrastructure. Then, of course, we have the washrooms and other challenging areas that we're looking at. That's part 2. We're looking at physiotherapy. We're looking at coaching. We're looking at fitness levels. Then within the sport part, we're trying to see whether livelihood can be addressed. Because if sports persons focus on the game, what about their income? We're trying to look at talking to corporates. Dinkle, for her sheer hard work, has reached a certain place. Can she be a role model for others? Education, and then those who can't earn, can we create some kind of a pension fund for them? So lots of areas from a sporting point. Then comes the social transformation. What we are looking at is, can we change mindsets? So sporting point, when we started off 4 months ago, we had 10, 15 players. We've now touched 60, 70, more and more coming in. There are 8 and 10-year-olds who are now coming in and joining the practice sessions, which is so heartening. Their parents are coming in there. That's good to see. We'd like to take this to every district of Maharashtra, maybe reach 1,000 number. That's one part. And from a social transformation point, more and more people coming and watching, can they go back and say, let us build a ramp in our building? Something as basic as that. Can I just put up signages? Can we be a little more compassionate? And can we have one washroom in the building? Can we have one slightly more accessible space in our area? Can we just open the doors of our minds to people and say, okay, inclusivity has to be part of our day-to-day life. So these are both areas which we're working on parallelly. Rishi?
Great. So, Shishir, now it's time for you and me to take a back seat and let our star take center stage. I want to just talk about your remarkable achievements. I believe 2017 was a big year for you. You won a bronze for India at an international tournament. Tell us about that and how you won gold in wheelchair basketball thrice in a national tournament. So I want to talk about the international tournament. I want to talk about those 3 victories and how you've decided to take up para badminton as a sport after being a wheelchair basketball player. Because they're totally different skill sets, aren't they? I mean, one is a racket sport and the other is a pure ball sport. So talk to me about your life and career.
Rishikesh just trying to add some versatility to my profile. So then I started playing basketball in 2015. Honestly, I wasn't that serious about the game at that time. It was since 2006 maybe I just kept playing one or the other sport at district level and represented various NGOs. 2015 was the year when I got to know that something was happening at a national level in India itself. So then I was like, might as well participate. I went there, and that was a very unfortunate situation to witness. From entire India, there were around 20 girls. I can count them on my fingers, and there was this mixed team made there and there. So it was like next day we have our match, and then the previous day everybody set in a round arrangement, and they decide that who will play with in which team and what arrangements would be there. So it wasn't, and the team were not even of 5 people. There was three girls team, and we played against each other. The first medal was won at that time, the gold medal. Then I had to break for 2 years, as I had to prepare for my MBA entrance exams and things like that. So, but then I kept attending camps. That's when I got selected for international tournament. It was a tournament held in Indonesia, and India won, not only women's team but even men's team won a bronze medal over there. So, and that's when I was like, okay, now let's not drop basketball, be serious at it, and there was never looking back. I made sure that, in fact, my coach, he made sure that even if I'm studying MBA, I started my MBA in 2018. So he made it a point. He fought with authorities at that time and made sure even if I do not attend practice, I get to attend the tournament, and I did. In 2018-19, we again won a gold medal. It was been since 2016, the state teams were formed, but Maharashtra couldn't win a medal then. But later in 2018, we again had a victory and we won a gold medal. And then in 19 again we did. Currently, Maharashtra is one of the best teams in India, and
Nice.
we are expecting a gold this year also. So let's see.
And you take up para badminton, and immediately after taking it up, you win a bronze medal in the national para badminton tournament. So
Yes.
talk about diversifying. You've already mastered the new sport. So well done on that. Yeah. And just your day job now. I believe you're part of Deloitte. You had a campus placement. You've been there for almost a year now, 8+ months.
Yeah.
I remember Deloitte used to sponsor the cricket ratings at one point in time. They're very active as far as sporting culture is concerned. So, just your experiences at the job, and, if you're having the time of your life or not.
Just a trivia. When I was having my campus recruitment, so at that time, a lot of mentors used to say, "Arey, why are you pursuing sports? Why are you missing your studies and going for a tournament? As it is, you'd have to leave it as you join corporate world." And even I was of that same mindset that my job might not allow me to pursue sport. And then this Deloitte interview happened. So in the interview itself, the partner is like one of the most senior personnel in the company. So while interviewing, he was like, "Oh wow, I'm very impressed with your achievements." I was like, "Yeah, but let's see now how things follows." He's like, "We will arrange things up and down and do whatever we need to and whatever you need, but you do not stop playing sports." So then that was a relieving statement. I did not expect it, because Deloitte obviously has high work standards, and they expect quality work from you, and it demands uh, a long work hours. So, but then this coming up from the partner level, it was a relieving thing. Even now, they have been adjusting a lot, because I have to move up and down for my practices. So during the badminton practice itself, it was like I used to be out like uh, from the working hours, like 6 to 7 hours. I used to be roaming here and there practicing. So but then they adjusted that also. They were like, it's okay, we'll move things here and there, you work at your own flexible hours, as long as you deliver before the deadline. But then even now I spoke to managers, directors, and everybody. They just say that work is fine, but then continue to play sports. So then that is very relieving. I talk to other partners, and even they are very keen on sports. The most of
Wow.
them are like cyclists, and one of the partners I met this last Monday, he was like, I'll be climbing Kunur mountain on cycle, and he'll be carrying few other colleagues also. So that is the culture, and obviously I'm having the life time of my life. So yeah, it's very relieving.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. In case you want to follow her, Dinkle is Dinkle Shah on Instagram. It's not MPLE. It's not Dimple, but it's Dinkle. Remember that, NKLE. She's also a Dinkle Space Shah on Facebook. And if you choose to reach out to her on LinkedIn, is just Dinkle, and she will decide whether she wants to accept your request or not. We're back to a Project Mumbai. And since we're on the socials, I'd like you guys to know their Instagram is Project Mumbai, straightforward spelling. On Facebook and on Instagram, it's Project_Mumbai. And on Twitter, it's just Project Mumbai. They also have a YouTube channel. Shishir, let's look at the larger picture. I mean, the idea, I remember when you launched Project Mumbai, was to empower communities and help build a happy, healthy, and secure environment where citizen rights are protected and honored. You've done some very interesting things with railway stations. Now you're in the disability sector. Just give us an overview of your activities and where you are from when you started, and your vision for the MMR, the Mumbai Metropolitan Region.
Thanks, Hrishi. Just a quick follow-up on what Dinkle also said. And there are fantastic team members that you'll get to meet, some of them on Saturday and Sunday. And we'd like to see them also at the Paralympics a couple of years from now. And then they'll be back on your show as winners of the Paralympics.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Yeah, so that's one. But yes, coming back to Project Mumbai, we continue to work on our tagline, Mumbai ke liye kuch bhi karega, anything for the city, and we'd like to build that ownership that citizens do, where our plastic recyclathon is an award-winning initiative. Now we get citizens to donate plastic. The plastic benches are now in municipal schools. We have launched another new initiative called on organ donation, where we're calling it Har Ghar Hai Donor, where it's not just you and me as individuals donating our organs, but as families can we donate organs and volunteer our bodies for people. There are so many people who lose their lives for the want of an organ, a body organ. At that point, we're getting citizens to become fire champions. There are fires which take place day in and day out. And with the Mumbai Fire Brigade, we are training citizens to become fire champions. Every Saturday, there's a training at one of the fire command centers, free of cost. People can enroll, understand how to evacuate, understand how to douse fires, and so on and so forth. These trainings are going on. We also started an initiative called Naksha, which is mapping Mumbai's roads. So there could be one day a Hrishi K road somewhere, and definitely a Dinkle Shah road. But many of us don't know who these people are possibly. And what we're doing is we are researching every such road of the city, not just the high-profile South Mumbai roads. Every road of Mumbai, putting it down in a mapping form. The municipal corporation will QR code it, All I need to do is click on it and read about that person. And the Mumbai police is going to give us details of the police station. So you click on Hrishi K road, you get to read about him, what all is there available on that road, which police station it comes under. So just trying to make things easier for the citizens of Mumbai. And it's working because hundreds of citizens are part of this initiative, and happy that Project Mumbai is growing from that front.
Excellent. A big reminder again, tomorrow, Saturday, 12th of March at the YMCA in Nagpada, starting 4 p.m. Day after Sunday, 13th of March, 4 p.m. again, YMCA International House in Bombay Central. Please go cheer. It's the City Wheelchair Premier League. Some excellent players facing off against each other, playing basketball. Also, the Armed Forces Paraplegic Rehab Center Jawans will come in. These are officers who were injured while serving the country. And of course, if you go there, you will also be able to sit in a wheelchair and try and shoot a basketball into that hoop. Let's see how successful you are as far as that is concerned. Thanks very much, Dinkle. Have a lovely, lovely day up ahead. And you too, Shishir. See you soon.
Thank you so much. Lovely talking to you.
94.3
One world, your station.
Radio 1.